Hi guys, welcome to Mompreneur Space live show podcast where I interview inspiring moms from all around the world so that you can learn from them how they overcome their challenges and struggles as mompreneurs. I'm your host, Kenneth Chu, and today is 103 episode of Mompreneur Space live show. So this podcast started with a very simple thought of sharing inspiring stories of mompreneurs so that you will be able to resonate and start to make a difference in your family lives. I've met and come across a lot of amazing mompreneurs in the past 5 years, which I'm very blessed that I've connected with them and for them to share the stories on my podcast. And today's guest is also another amazing mompreneur who I invited her on my show back in September 2021. And back then, she was just a new mom and juggling with her PR business back then. So now it has been about 3 years since she became a mom and running the business. And this episode, we will be talking about motherhood and business, where I feel she's the best person to talk about this topic and see if she has any new discovery since then. Christel will also be sharing on how she overcame her challenges and struggles as a mompreneur. Christel Goh is the CEO and founder of Growth Public Relations. Christel brings a decade of agency and in-house communication experience to her clients. She also leads the Grow PR team to raise the reputation of venture-backed startups and SME through media publicity and awareness among key opinion leaders. Some of Growth PR clients include ShopBack, SoftBank, Robotics, and Ayam brand. So without further ado, let us welcome Christel. Hi, Christel.
Hello, hi.
Good
Hi,
to have you
Kenneth.
again.
Yes. Good morning. Super early today.
Yeah, still morning, or you don't start that early often?
No lah. I mean, this is considered still morning for me.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Good to
Mm,
have you once again, and maybe you can do a short introduction of yourself to share with the audience. Um,
mm.
where uh where are you from, and also what are you currently doing? Over to
Okay,
you,
hello
Christel.
everybody. I'm Christel. So I currently run Grow PR. Like Kenneth mentioned, Grow PR, we are a team based in Singapore that we do work for a lot of angel-backed, venture-backed startups and SMEs. We do PR for them. We get them into like mainstream publications, build their credibility, build awareness, build visibility for them. So a lot of these companies come to us because they are like looking to get like investors in, or they want more customers to know about them, or like certain other partners to know what they're doing, and then eventually partner with them and get in touch with them. So essentially, that's the work that we do. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe you can give a bit more introduction of yourself, like what were you doing back then, and how did you get started into entrepreneurship?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So my background is that I've been in PR for the past decade. I started out in a PR agency, and then I moved in house to do communication. So, public relations like is like kind of like a subset of marketing, right? And then we do work for like clients or even for companies when I was an employee. And then when I was doing that in-house, I got a little bit bored, so I started a social enterprise, creating games for seniors, localized games for seniors. The project got quite a lot of publicity because I pitched the project to the media, and then eventually that's how a lot of small business owners started asking me if I could freelance, if I could do PR for them. And then it led to me building Grow PR as a team that supports more of these startups and SMEs. The reason why we focus our work on a lot of startups and SMEs, right, is because um, I think, in my past experiences doing work for a lot of bigger companies or even like government organizations, the work that we do, like the public relations work, getting clients, getting them into like Straits Times, or getting a opportunity with CNBC to interview like the chairman or CEO, it felt like a drop in the bucket. Like it felt like the work was like a very small part, right? That didn't really have impact to the organization, or I just couldn't see the impact to the organization. But when I started like doing freelance work for a lot of small business owners, I could see that if they got onto like Channel News Asia, if they got onto like even a radio station or various lifestyle publications, they would tell me that, oh, they saw certain spike in their sales numbers, or they saw like investors coming to them, and I could really see that the impact was felt a lot more. And it's a lot more encouraging and exciting to do the work in this space. In addition to that, I'm also a mom. I have a almost 3-year-old, right? So when we
Yeah,
spoke previously, kind of my
2019.
daughter, yeah, it was 2021, right? 2021, right?
2019
Oh,
we did
2020.
the previous
Okay.
episode. Time flies.
Yeah. So 2019 she wasn't born yet. Then yeah, so now she's almost 3 already.
Time flies, time flies. So like you mentioned, you were working for a PR agency, then you were
Mm.
freelancing, right?
Yeah.
Then what makes you feel, because back then you were telling me that you felt that it's time for you to jump into running a business. So
Mm.
what started you or have the faith to jump into an organization like that? Because when you're working for someone, right,
Yeah.
all the leads is there for you. You just work
Yeah.
on the accounts, work on the
Yeah.
clients. You don't have to handle so many.
Mm.
But when you're starting your own business, right, you are just maybe starting from zero. But for your case, you were already freelancing, so you already have some clients.
Mm.
So what made you feel that the confidence of you taking that leap of faith into jumping onto your own, where
Mm.
or is there an indication that you are ready? So maybe you can
Mm.
share with us.
Okay, cool. I will share about that. So actually, I was working in house lah. So I was doing like communications, corporate comms, for like a public organization, right? We did a lot of like thought leadership stuff. We put content out there. So that was the work that I was doing, and then I was freelancing, or I can say moonlighting now lah, huh? I was moonlighting back then. So I was actually doing that while I was full time. There were clients, or like there were small business owners that came to me and asked me if I could do PR for them. So I was moonlighting a little bit, and then I quit. And then my boss said, "Okay, like I don't want you to starve to death. How about you take a part time role?" Right. So I was part time, and then doing that, and being in a part time role and doing that was great, right? So I had like the comfort of like
The
a
best of
semi,
both worlds, right?
a part, yeah, like a half job, and then like I could still do whatever I want to do. In days I didn't go into the office, so my boss would literally ask me, "So what days are you coming to the office this week?" That kind of thing. So that was quite good. Um, and made what gave me the courage to actually jump from full time to part time, or like even to full time to part time wasn't that scary because you still have half an income, right? But from part time to totally like leaving the role, was that the money that I was making from freelancing had already exceeded. It had either exceeded or it had covered what I made.
You mean
Um,
cover the part time or cover the full time?
Covered the full time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I am a super non-risk taker. And the only reason why I decided to leave my job was that I was making enough money
So
to
you
do that.
basically covered, or that means exceeded, or even make back. That means from your freelancing, you make back
Yeah.
the amount that you were making back then as a full timer.
Yeah, I think I was making more money actually,
Okay.
than when I was working.
Mm.
From freelancing. Yeah.
But in that case, when you say you are making more, because as a business owner, right, your
Mm.
income is not consistent, not like a paycheck. So
Yeah.
but like how long does it take for you to? That means how long were you freelancing until you felt that you reached that you were earning more than your full
Yeah.
time job, and then you took the
Right.
leave of it? How long was that period of time?
Wow, you're challenging my memory.
Yeah, roughly it could be 1 year or it
It
could
could
be
be, it
longer.
could be, it could have been 2 years actually. It
Oh,
could have been
okay.
2 years. I think roughly it's
From
about
full
2 years.
time to part time and then to leave.
Yeah, possibly.
Mm-mm-mm.
Possibly 2 years. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay, because I think what you share is like you say you are risk averse, right? So
Mm.
you're not a very high risk person. I think
Mm.
a lot, especially for maybe when you are going to start a family, because back then you're married and
Yeah.
you're planning to start a family. I
Yeah.
think that certainty makes you have the courage to jump into it since it's making, so it doesn't make sense for you to like hold a full-time job where you're earning more. That means the sky is the limit, right? Is that what you see back then?
I think it was just that okay, I wanted to I decided eventually decided to make the decision to leave because I took on a rather big project that I felt that I
Mm,
may not have been able to cope with working
part-time.
part time as
Mm,
well as doing that project.
mm,
And the other thing was that I did meet a few prospects that or like that gave me the
potential.
impression that no, that
Mm,
gave me the impression that hey, you are working while you are running this. Like how
mm.
serious are you
Okay.
about the PR work for us as
Committed
a
lah.
client? Yeah, how committed can you be, right?
Mm,
And then I think I spoke to like various other people also who said the same thing. I mean, like you already have more or less a stable base,
mm,
right? Why don't you leave your job
mm.
completely? And okay, thinking back, I remember something that was an analogy that
Okay.
someone gave to me. I was speaking to this person, and then he said to me that like you are in this scenario where you are like swimming in the ocean, you're holding on to a log, right?
Mm,
This log has sustained you for a very, very long time, right? But the thing is that you already see the shore that is so close to you and you are swimming towards it, but you are being held back by the log.
mm,
Why don't you just let go of the log and then you can swim faster? And then I think that was the analogy that made me push and like okay decide okay I'm just gonna leave because it's very difficult when you have been working for like close to 10 years to
yep.
decide to quit your job full
Correct.
time, and then right after that, like I think a month or so after that, I found out I was pregnant. I didn't know, yeah. So then I got a bit like scared. I was like, oh my gosh, I
You're
wasted my
pregnant. You step into
my
business.
maternity leave, because yeah I very
That's
like
true. That's true. That's a very
yeah.
typical thought, right?
Yeah, like my maternity leave, like okay, I'm quite cheap that way, right? But yeah, maternity leave, no. Um, and then eventually, thinking back was a good decision, like because having to juggle all that and being
Mm,
pregnant probably wasn't the best because
yeah.
you have to rest and yeah, you don't want too much stress mentally
Mm.
while you are growing a human being inside you,
Yeah,
right?
I think in
Yeah.
fact, if when I knew you, now I'm thinking back because when I was looking through our for the photos that we took, right then after that you
Mm.
came for one of the Shiro event that
Yeah.
we were sharing. I didn't know that the time when you were pregnant already,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, yes, yes.
but the thing is, you don't look like, because when I
Yeah.
first knew you, you were I think in the midst of like pregnant already. Just that it
Yeah.
doesn't seems like because you were I don't know because you're petite, yeah,
Mm.
so it doesn't
I think
really look
second
like.
trimester also.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the thing is you're in second trimester. I don't even see that you are. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah, 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 yeah.
that's
Nobody
very
gave up their
interesting.
seat to me on MRT. It's quite tragic.
Yeah, okay. But I think it's because you don't look like furthermore,
Yeah.
and because I think when I knew you, you were in okay as compared to now, because you have gave birth, then you slim down and all that stuff. But back then, because when I first knew you, you were already in that shape, so I
Oh,
didn't
oh, oh,
even
thanks,
think that
thanks,
much.
thanks, Kenneth.
No, the problem is like no, because you are petite, and also I
Yeah,
don't think so much, and I
yeah.
think the clothing you wear is like
It's
the
okay, it's
style,
okay, it's
right?
okay. I don't get offended easily. It's okay, it's okay.
No problem. No, I think because when I think back, I say, hey, actually quite true. When I knew you, you were already pregnant, but I didn't know that. So
Yeah.
when I saw that you gave birth, I was like, eh, you you pregnant?
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah, 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 yeah.
it doesn't really link it up, because now
Mm,
when I think back, right, because I was looking, hey, what did we talk about in our last episode and all that stuff.
yeah.
Then I realized, oh, okay, in fact, you were pregnant. So coming back,
Mm,
like you were sharing about all this, right, about your job and all that. Maybe you can share a bit more about your journey. How has motherhood been for you?
mm,
Because
mm.
it has been 3 years,
Yeah.
and when you first started your business, just now you mentioned that you after you jump into your business, you were pregnant,
Mm,
and
mm,
from that moment, I can see that you are pretty active, spending a lot of time with your daughter. And how has this journey been for you? Maybe you can
mm.
share with us.
Okay. So I think the first 6 months was definitely the toughest, right? The first 6 months where you have to like adjust to having your life taken away from you, um, like with the breastfeeding and stuff like that, and all those things. So first 6 months was the toughest. After that, it just got a bit better. Then I think as my daughter gained a bit more independence, being able to do certain things on her own, and being comfortable with like a lot of different people, then it got a lot better. Yeah, so so I think I'm not sure whether it gets easier or we just get used to how tough it is, you know. I always ask my husband that like which how is it? But yeah, I think definitely it's very fun to watch my child grow faith.
Mm,
But then also having to always strike that balance in terms of time.
mm,
Like for example, this Friday my daughter's school is closed,
mm,
right? So then I was asking my husband, hey, should we bring her out? Like bring her to like some water park or whatever.
mm.
But then at the same time I think, okay, it means that I would have to have less time to do work.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that's always tough.
And talking about that, because if it correct me if I'm wrong, because
Mm.
I remember that your husband is together with you in this business.
Yep.
Yeah. So having that, right, because it's like most mothers, if even they run business, their husband is still working, or maybe they are
Mm.
doing their own stuff. But both of you are coming together to
Yeah.
build this PR
Mm.
agency. So how has it been different? Because like you say, Friday your daughter's there's no school, right?
Yeah.
And and if let's say today your husband's still working, at least there's some work being done. There's some I think can still bring bread back
Mm.
home, and then for you, you can still take care of your daughter yourself, or you just bring her
Mm.
out. So how has it been different for both of
Mm.
you to be in the same business? That means running the business together,
Mm.
and also taking care of her.
Yeah. I think maybe some observations lah that I feel uh happens as a result of us working together. Um as compared to if we did not work together,
Yeah,
like currently
separate
I'm
job.
CEO at a company, and
Mm,
then my husband is COO, right? So he takes care of the finance and
mm,
HR stuff, and then I take care of like sales, for example, right? So the one of the observations I noticed is that sometimes we talk about work too much. Like so we'll be at dinner, then we'll be talking about work, and then Faith will be like trying to get our attention. and then she'll be annoyed that we are like talking about stuff and like ignoring her. So that is one of the observations. Um then like maybe other stuff is that like at um like when we are working or when I'm asking him for stuff, then he's like, I can't talk to you now. I have to take care of Faith now, you know. So then he can use that as a excuse because like I'm like both are my priorities, right? So after like okay,
yeah.
I can't say anything because you have to do that. Yeah. So that is another another area lah. I would say
Okay, so,
observation.
so so when you say that, so you and your husband, you guys, because both of you are in the business, you are entrepreneur, business owners,
Mm.
and you both of you are sharing the load of taking care of your daughter.
Yeah.
So how does that work in your household?
Mm. So how we split the load? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, how you split the load? Like maybe daytime is him, then nighttime is you, or it's just very spontaneous.
It is quite spontaneous, I would say. Um, I think because I'm a helper also. So
Mm,
my helper also is part of the
the
equation lah.
household. Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely my helper will help her to get ready to school.
Mm,
If possible, I would send her to school. But definitely in the morning, like I will like spend time with her a little bit. Get her
mm,
eat her breakfast, go and take a shower. And then when she comes back from school, I will try to fetch her from school. But if I can't, and then my helper would do that. Then I would
mm,
usually spend like the evenings with her. I bring her to
mm.
playground, stuff
Yeah.
like that. And then my husband is like as and when he's around law, then he would be there, like maybe put her to
Mm,
sleep, stuff like that. Yeah.
mm, mm,
So we don't really have a very fixed like okay who does what. I think
mm.
yeah, it's quite spontaneous. Mm.
Mm. So just now coming back when you were saying that, so your husband, because I know that you have you are now at a co-working space that you are
Mm.
working like as an office, right? So
Yeah.
does your husband also work at the same place, or he will be working at home, or how does that work?
We have this shared space, but we usually decide whether to come in or not. So it's really
Uh,
up to individual lah. Like if you want to come in, they come in. Sometimes you have meetings here as well. So
mm,
really depends. Mm.
okay, so it's quite flexible lah,
Yeah.
because now your daughter has gone to school, like
Yeah.
play
She
group
started
and all that.
playgroup.
Okay.
Mm.
So
Mm.
that okay. So before she goes to playgroup, is there any difference in your schedule, other than because you have a helper?
Oh yeah. So the difference was that we would not. I probably would not sign up for a space outside.
Mm.
I only started working out like at a gym. This is a
Mm.
gym shared
Yeah.
co-work space, right? I only started
Yeah.
working out like properly after she went to school. Yeah.
I think it's very interesting because I think for business owner, right? Because when you first share with me, and also we met at the your gym co-working
Mm,
space, right? I was like very interesting because as like for mom, right, you want to stay active, and furthermore, you shared before that you were active, you were really
yeah.
active, working
Mm,
out and all that stuff, and it's like the best of both worlds, and
yeah.
you can still work there, you still can meet people there, you still can work out, so
Mm,
it's like a very healthy balance. That's why I felt that it's good for you to share that because maybe there's a lot of mothers that didn't know that such places exist,
oh
that
yeah.
you can work out. That means you sign up for the gym, at the same time there's still a space for you to work.
Mm,
I think it's a
mm,
very interesting concept, and at least mothers who are out there who wants to maybe keep in shape, stay healthy, at the same time also not always keep themselves at home. That means keep working
yeah.
at home. At least there's still like an official space where it's healthy. They can work out, they can plan their schedule, they can meet people,
Yeah.
and also run their business.
Yeah.
So in that case, right, what would you say that are your new discovery since our last interview back? Or in fact, it's 2021. Yeah.
Mm. New discoveries. Wow, that's tough, man. That's tough.
Yeah.
I think I feel that one thing I'm realizing is um being a mom and leading a team is a little bit similar. There are a little bit of
Mm,
parallels there
mm,
in terms of how you sort of have to be patient with people, have to be patient with your child. You definitely need to provide them like guidance, but also know when to take a step back in
mm,
terms of correction. If you don't correct things, like things go wrong
mm.
at work, and at the same time, if you don't discipline your child, or if you don't, yeah, then yeah. So
Manage
I
properly.
do think that there are like certain parallels, in fact,
Mm,
right, in how you kind of do in kind of like mentorship at work with
mm.
people, as well as like bringing up a
Parents.
child lah. So um yeah.
I think that is good because this is something I realized that a lot of mothers don't realize that running a business and parenting a child, right, is very similar. You saw the parallel
Mm,
between these two, which I also agree because this is also my discovery working with mompreneurs for the past 14 years, especially back then with motherhood. A lot of my
mm,
clients are mothers, and I see that a lot of time all these mothers or mompreneur I call them, right, is that
yeah.
they may be having 2 kids, 3 kids, some of them even have 4 5 kids, but they are still running the business and sometimes running multiple businesses. And what they share with me is that um like every business is like a child to them. Like you mentioned, all the qualities, you have to be patient, you have to mentor them, you have to discipline them or manage them in the very beginning. If not,
Mm,
things will start to snowball and you know what will happen at the end, right?
mm.
Things doesn't look good or it may turn out ugly. So is there other things that you felt that um when is it like you run your business, you learn all this what do you call that, entrepreneurial skills, and then
Yeah.
all these entrepreneurial skills can be used in parenting your child.
Mm.
Do you use
Mm.
or the other way around, like that means whatever you use on faith, right, you're using in your business
Yeah.
managing people. Yeah, how do you how do you see that?
Mm. I think to me, right, is my perspective is that it's all part of the self improvement, right?
Mm,
So I feel that like to figuring out how to be a better parent, or figuring out how to parent even, and
mm,
figuring out how to like run a business to scale, how to encourage and motivate your team. Um, it's it's like part of different skill sets that
mm,
makes me a person. And
mm,
then it's continually striving towards self improvement in various aspects, right?
mm,
um yeah, sometimes the link may not be so clear,
mm,
but to me, at the end of the day, I think it's really trying to be a better version of myself in
mm,
various aspects of various roles lah, that I
mm.
guess I have to
Whether it's
play.
a mom or the business owner,
Yeah, correct,
CEO.
correct,
Mm.
correct, correct,
Yeah,
correct.
because
Mm.
when you talk about that, right, I realized that when I first met you, right, you are not that chatty. or maybe we are still very maybe new to each other,
I
right?
see.
But I realized that even along the way, even like 2 years ago when I first interviewed you, right? You were different. Now you are more chatty, you are more responsive. Because back then you felt that you are more introverted, that you're more shy, you don't really speak, but you are not that confident. But I see that today you are very confident. You can express yourself better. Because the first time I met you was at your one of your workshop. You were sharing about PR. That I was there, and I said, "Oh, this lady very petite, very shy, like like the voice also very soft
Oh,
spoken."
really?
Yeah, yeah, very soft
Okay.
spoken. Yeah, so it's like the energy is very neutral, very
Mm.
calming. Yeah,
Mm.
so that's why when now I'm talking to you now, you are more smile, you are more relaxed, or maybe because we have known each other for many years already, so
Mm.
that's why you are more relaxed. And this is not the first time you
Mm.
onto a live show or live stream,
Mm.
because you
Yeah.
yourself you have been doing your show also on live stream,
Yeah.
right? Interviewing people. So
Yeah.
it do because when you talk about self-improvement, I can see that huge difference in you, the
Mm.
self-improvement, your personal development that over the years, and now you are also uh, leading a huge team. Because recent, I
Mm.
think it was last year, right? You brought your whole team for what do you call
Retreat.
that,
A
retreat?
team
Yeah,
retreat. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 So these are, I think these are the new discovery I see from my end, that you have grown
Right.
so much, and these are the difference lah. I think you have evolved
Mm.
like to version 2 or version 3 of Christel.
Mm.
So in that case, talking about that, how do you balance your motherhood and business like as of now? Okay,
Mm.
why not maybe when you first started, when you
Mm.
became a new mom, how do you balance, and is there any difference of you balancing compared to now?
Mm. I think I'm still struggling to find a balance. um, it's definitely very tough lah. Like finding that balance. But for me, right, I think I can't remember if I shared this at the
Mm,
previous session with you, but having very clear like block out times, no.
mm.
Yeah. I can be a bit obsessive, I realize, when it comes to work. Yeah, my husband
Workaholic.
tells me that lah, like yeah, and I like to move very fast. So
Mm.
he calls me, the what do you call it? The road runner. The road
Yeah,
runner,
yeah.
the beep
PP.
beep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
he
know.
calls me beep beep because he feels that I'm like this, sometimes when it comes to work, I just chase chong ahead. Yeah. Yeah, I think having very clear like block out times.
Mm,
So in the morning I know, okay, like there's a very fixed routine lah. I will be with
mm.
Faith. In
Yeah.
the evening I'll be with Faith
Mm,
when she come back from school.
mm, mm,
Like 6 p.m. will be at the playground kind of thing.
mm,
Yeah, so having that clear block out time to me is important. The challenge comes when sometimes, like you want to go out at night,
mm,
right? And then you don't sleep for her, and then if it goes on for like a few days, then like
mm.
you'll feel terrible lah about it lah
You
as a
feel
mom.
guilty.
You'll feel guilty. I think it's very, very normal, right?
Mm.
Um, yeah. So
But at least you
uh,
allow yourself to go out, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Because some friends that I know, they don't even allow themselves to go out. Even
Yeah.
like a couple date with the husband, they don't even allow them.
Yeah.
But at least you make the effort to go out, right? But sometimes you go
Yeah.
out like you feel like too often already, because
Yes,
you
yes,
also need
yes.
time to breathe, right?
Yes. And so in fact, sometimes when I even come out to like this co-work space to like work out and then
Mm,
like to work, right? It also means that my time at home is a bit lesser. Right. So
mm,
sometimes because of this, like for example, if I come early today, I can't
yeah.
send her to school. I did
Mm,
walk her down, and then she said, "Mama send." She wants me to send her to school,
mm.
but then yeah, I couldn't. I didn't
Oh,
because
is it?
yeah. So you would feel
What time is the school? What time does the school start? The play group.
before 9, before
Ah,
9.
okay, okay.
Yeah. So you would feel like, oh, like I can't do that. Yeah, like yeah. So
So how do you
um
overcome that feeling? Because I believe that a lot of mothers will have that, or you
uh
just suck it up, or just
just suck it up. Just suck it up and then like try to be
like it's
better
okay,
next time. Try to
no
spend the
more.
next day, yeah, like the next
Mm.
day, when you have the yeah. like be a bit intentional about it lah. Like for example, so if I know that this Friday I want to bring her out for a bit, then maybe like in the morning I'll block out. Okay, I'm not going to work, right? This don't block my time, don't book my time, guys.
Yeah.
And then in the evening, then I'll work lah. So or like like afternoon, right? When she comes back, then I'll work. So yeah, I think blocking out time. Yeah, but it does feel a bit overwhelming sometimes because if you're either working or you're either taking care of your child.
And
Then
you
you
don't have
maybe
your
have
time yourself, right?
yeah, maybe you only have 1 hour or 2 hours like at night before you sleep. Yeah, so literally it feels like that every day.
Yeah. So do you feel that because now she's going to school, you have more time now that you can work on the business, and then like you say you block out the time when she finish school, you go and pick her up, and you just basically spend the evening with her until she goes to bed, and then you start to work a bit on yourself or even back to work, stuff like that.
Yeah, I think definitely I feel like I have more time to myself at this point versus before she went to school, right? Because now I can like go out and stuff like
Yeah.
that during the weekdays while she's in school. Like I won't feel that bad about it. Yeah, and then now there's a lot more meetings because COVID is no longer
Open up.
here, right? We have events and we go a lot more. So I feel less bad about it because she's in school. But at the same time, I also feel like sometimes I wish I was able to take her out of school more and then like like go out and stuff like that. Like yeah, I think you will always want to do more.
Yeah. I think this is like you say, it's very normal to want to do more because as a parent you feel that connection, right? Then the guilt comes. But one thing I can say that from now onwards, right, you will have more and more time because this is the pattern that I've seen after working with so many mompreneurs at different phases. So now you'll get more time, and when they go to primary school, you will get even more time.
I see.
We get even more time. Then they on top of it, they will have CCA. Then they will be there in school, and so you have more time. And even eventually, like my daughter, she's in secondary school, right? She don't even need me at all.
Yeah,
And
but it's so sad, right? It's so sad when you get to that point, right?
I won't say it's sad because if you think back then, right, we've been through that. We said, hey, mommy, don't want to disturb me. I now got my friends. My friends I'm closer with my friends. I spend more time with my friends. And now for them, right, they're always on group chat, on Discord, or even on video call. So that's why I need to occupy myself with more time, which I also see that a lot of mompreneurs that when their children grow, right, that's why the tendency of them growing their business is huge. Until the point of time when their children have passed I would say the puberty period or the teenager period, right? And when they go to university, that's where a lot of them start to bond with their kids more because they no longer become just parents. They became like friends, more like partners, and because they are more adult already. So because their business also built to the extent. So imagine like for yourself, right? Another 10 years, Faith will be in secondary school and she'll be pretty independent. But by then, your business has already built to the extent that you don't have to really get involved too much because you might have built a team and all that. So that's where I see a lot of mompreneurs in their 40s, coming to 50s, right? When their kids are much older, they can spend more time. They can even travel more with their kids because especially school holiday, they don't have to squeeze with other people and they can just travel as and when. So I think things will will be better for you. And furthermore, as now you are building a team, I think business has grown that. So coming to that, right? Talking about business, so how has your business grown in the past 3 to 4 years since you started? So what would you say that you have made a decision? Because back then you mentioned when you first started, right? Especially even being a mom, a new mom running the business, you shared with me that you make a good decision in jumping into entrepreneurship and start a business. So has that changed since then? Now moving like 3 to 4 years already.
I would say like now it does still feel like I made a good decision. I'm not sure how things will go like 6 months later, right? Because things are always changing. So I'm not sure. Running a business comes with a lot of risks. We have like a lot of overheads kind of thing. So it can be very, very stressful when let's say your revenue or your sales don't come in as how you like. But definitely we have grown. So when my daughter was born, that was when I decided that I couldn't freelance on my own. I couldn't just be the one doing the work because when I get pregnant or when I have to give birth, then who's going to do the work, right? So
Mm.
only when my daughter was born, which is 2020, then I decided to hire like people.
Mm.
Yeah. So only I think in 2019, late 2019 is where I quit my job. Right. 2020 is where I decided, okay, we need to start hiring people. Uh,
Mm.
and then I decided that we will grow the team, or like we will grow as a company. So that started at 2020. Before that, I was quite happy freelancing,
Mm.
things was fine, everything. Yeah. And then 2020 was starting to grow PR as a company. Slowly we added more people. We hit certain revenue goals that we
Mm.
we set in our heads.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we are growing, I would say. I'm not sure like what stage we're in. I guess we're in the growth stage lah. Like if we
Yeah.
categorize different
Yeah.
companies and stuff,
Mm.
I guess we're in the growth stage. Um, yeah, and it's been pretty fun. It comes with a lot of risks, comes with a lot of challenges. It forces you to really look at yourself, look at what areas you need to fix, and it becomes much bigger than yourself.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah. So because when you were saying about hiring, right? Because a lot of mompreneurs I realized in my observation in the past 14 years is that the hiring process is the hardest because a
Yeah.
lot of them felt that okay, I can do this, I'm a solopreneur, I can do everything by myself,
Mm.
and they're okay with it. So even because they always have these challenges of hiring people. Oh, how
Mm.
can when I hire these people, they're not doing as much as I'm doing, and they're not being productive. They're
Mm.
not worth paying. So how did you manage that, or how do you overcome all this? Or you basically you don't have that all that thought. You felt that is if I want to grow the company, or I need to grow the company because I'm a mom now, so I need to
Mm.
spam out more time. That's why I want to leverage on other people,
Mm.
and build my own team so that I can free up more of my time to do more of the strategic thinking rather than doing the work. So how was
Mm.
your thought process before hiring and after hiring?
Mm. Is your question about delegation, right? Or like is your question about
I think it's a trust of hiring people. Like a lot of time,
oh
entrepreneurs, especially when you are like for your case, right? You can write, you can do all the work,
mm,
but
mm,
entrusting the work to someone else
mm,
that you are hiring, or maybe someone new, you
yeah,
may not know that whether is it up to your standard and all that. There's always
mm,
a lot of uncertainty. I believe that it boils down to trust, like
mm.
trusting this work for someone who might not be doing as good as you. Did you have that, or what was your thought process when you go into hiring people?
Okay, so I think is for me it's different phases, right? So when I like maybe hire like 2 to 3 people, like the first people that I hired lah, right? It's recognizing that the work will not be 100%. Recognizing that it will be like maybe 80%, sometimes 70%, sometimes 60%, right? Uh, but when things go wrong, then that's how we respond to it. That matters at that point lah. At that point, realizing that I need to respond and not just giving free rein. Definitely, I think Singaporeans we don't really give free rein to anybody, right? So accepting that the work is not going to be 100% if somebody else is doing their job, and then correcting, and then whenever things go wrong, looking at the process, looking at the system to see what can be improved. I think that is the first part. And then from 2 to 3, maybe growing to like a little bit bigger, like now 10, 12 people that we are now working with, right? It's more about setting up that system, right? And credits to super scaling, which I'm part of the mentorship program. So making sure that we set up a system and we delegate properly. So I think recently I had a chat with one of my like coaches who said to me, the reason why sometimes people don't do the work up to your standard, or they don't do it as how you would like it to be, and you're wondering why is there an error, is perhaps it's a process that has not been broken down enough for them. Like maybe a lot of times as bosses we give them like a very vague idea of what we want, or we just say, hey, we want this thing to be done, but if it's not broken down for them enough, they are not inside your head. I think a lot of times we think that people are inside our head, and then that is the error that takes place lah. But I think when it comes to getting people, like hiring and managing a team, firstly, accepting the work is not going to be 100% perfect. Secondly, to ensure that you have a proper system, be able to document and delegate accordingly. And then thirdly, to always work on improving your system, tweaking things, because it's always about that continuous improvement, right? It's not going to be like perfect the first time. For example, even in our team right now, we are working on this workflow, because as the team grew over the past year, I realized that we are just bringing people in and then they are plugging various gaps, but we don't really have our structure or our system in which our fulfillment work gets done is a little bit messy right now, right? So we are trying to rework that structure and that system a little bit, and then hopefully encourage our team members to execute it, because then um the other point is, having people, having your like leaders to see the importance of some of these things, right? And how it's really to help them.
Yeah. But whether they
uh,
do they see it in their perspective? Because as business owner, we see as a business perspective. But for them,
mm,
as an employee, they have to really be able to understand and see from your
yeah,
perspective, right?
correct. So your skills in being able to convince, in being able to
Communicate, right?
negotiate, and to encourage people to make a change, that is, I think, a level that I'm trying to work on, that I'm working on. And I think this applies very much to parenthood, right?
Mm. Yeah.
Because you can nag all you want, but your kid is just not going to do it, right? And as a
Mm.
boss, you can nag your employees all you want, but if they don't see the value in it, then not gonna do it.
They'll be wondering like, why am I doing it, right? Like,
Yeah,
mommy, why am
correct.
I
Like,
doing this, right? Why you
yeah,
ask me to do, then I must do, right? They
yeah.
will
So
start to
mommy
have
asked me
that.
to do this, then I do this, or like my boss asked me to do this, then I do this, or but if you don't see the value in it, it's not gonna help you at all,
Mm,
right?
mm, mm,
Like,
mm.
yeah.
Yeah, I think this is like you mentioned the skill set when you are growing a team is
Mm.
that communication skill, is also negotiation,
Yep.
or I think these are important because I think just now I caught a few points, and
Mm.
I realized that like the first point you talk about 80% to accept that 80%, right?
Mm.
Talking about the 80%, because a lot of entrepreneur will be thinking, oh yeah, if they do 80%, then I might as well I do it to make it
Yeah.
like higher on 90% or even 100%, right? So do you have that thought, or you just accept it totally?
Mm. Can I visit the thought you have as well? Just curious.
Oh, for me is I have that challenge of hiring people.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm very good at dedicating, but really hiring as full time or even building a team, right? Because maybe for myself, I'm quite sufficient in doing a lot of things by myself, because I
Yeah.
leverage a lot on system. I leverage on system more than I leverage on people. So
Mm.
I do not know for yourself.
Mm. So I know a few people in my team who has this issue. I'm not a perfectionist lah, so that's why I'm not so bothered by this. Right?
Mm-mm.
I'm not a perfect. I accept that things are not like 100%. So I'm not a perfectionist, right? But my husband has this thing, and I know a team member in my team that has this issue as
Mm.
well, right? Um, so um, at the end of the day, if you recognize that you are the roadblock,
Mm.
then it will force you to have to delegate ma.
Yeah, yeah.
Because if you are writing all the content, if you are doing all these things, then there's only going to be a limit to the kind of work that you can take on.
Yeah.
And we can't grow. Yeah, lor.
Yeah. So it's like I think one thing you point out is if you want to grow, then you have to do this, right?
Yeah.
You have to really let go so that you can grow. Because no huge company like especially like Microsoft, if let's say Bill Gates do all the programming, do everything by himself, then Microsoft will not be where they are today, right? They
Yeah.
will not be able to grow, right? Or
Yeah.
any companies that, if that is your goal, right? If that
Mm.
is your goal to grow to a
Mm.
company that huge, you want to do more or you want to earn
Mm.
more, depending on what is your motivation, right? I
Mm.
think then you just have to embrace, like you mentioned, embrace that 80%, and then that's where you can grow and work on the 20% that is missing, right?
Mm.
And come out with
Mm.
system and all that. I think the other thing that you mentioned, because in such a short period of time of 3 to 4 years of growing a business from just one person or you and your husband, and now with a team of 10 over people, right?
Mm.
What would you say? Because just now I heard that you hire coaches and all that. Would you say that hiring coaches basically speed up and cut short the learning curve for you? That's why you can grow so fast. And
Mm.
because you mentioned about the roadblocks, like having that awareness that
Mm.
you might be the person that is the roadblock for your company to grow. So
Mm.
does coaching comes in one of the reason why you can grow your business in such a short span of time of 3 to 4 years.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah. So even my CopSec said that every time, because my CopSec is the one who like looks at the numbers, right?
Mm,
So she said that I noticed that every time you have a different coach like in, right, then you become a different person.
mm,
And I think so lah, because if you are there's no school, right, to teach you like how to run a business, right? And if we don't have the awareness of what is wrong, we don't even
mm,
know that we are headed in the wrong direction, then we can't improve ma. So I believe in having somebody to point out some
mm,
of these issues, some of these roadblocks, and how we can be better. Yeah, so I 100% believe in paying for advice,
mm,
whether it's a business coach or whether it is like a personal trainer at the gym, or
mm.
whether it is even like health related stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, talking about it, like where did you get that idea or even that conviction to hire a coach? Because a lot of people will have that struggle,
Yeah.
like to hire, like why do I need to spend and then get a coach? Or the other one will be, how would I know that this coach can help me? So
Mm.
do you have that thought before, or how do you overcome it? Or what would you advise people who are having that struggle of,
Mm.
now I'm not not earning a lot of money, but I need to hire a coach. Why do I need to hire a coach? So what would
Mm.
your advice be, or what will you tell all these people that have all these thoughts of hiring a
Mm.
coach?
Mm. I think actually I hire a coach at the start, right? Only when I mean like the business has been profitable lah, right?
Mm,
It wasn't that we were starving, we didn't have money, right? So I cannot say for people who are like maybe not making enough to make ends meet. I can only speak for myself, and
mm,
because we were like okay, we were doing okay. Right?
yeah.
I was doing okay. I was making enough money. Then there was this coach like try like sell me his program,
Mm,
and then I think I knew that if I were to continue at that point, then I wouldn't be able to grow as quickly. I think I
mm,
knew that like there were certain limitations lah to what I knew and how
mm,
I could run a business. And I saw and there were areas where he pointed out as weaknesses that is prevalent to me that is a
mm,
weakness. Um, so I knew that okay, if I need to fix it, that's the only way to go.
mm, mm.
Yeah, and then it
Yeah.
just
Because when you share that, I realized that you are very coachable, because a lot of time, um, like even people point out, they know that they should do something about it,
yeah.
but rather than hiring a coach, you would kind of like do it themselves. Like
Mm,
even they have the
mm,
money, but they will still do it themselves. So what would you think is the thing is stopping them? Like, because for you, you're very coachable. You see that,
yeah.
you have the awareness, and you decided to invest in that.
Mm, mm. What is stopping them?
Yeah.
I don't really know. But but my
Yeah, but what
person,
maybe
yeah,
yeah, maybe what makes you want to hire, or you just want to get things done, and you know that by hiring them you will overcome all these things that you do not know.
yeah. I think that is the reason lah. I'm also
Mm,
um personality profile, right? I'm
mm,
also not a C at all. Like
mm.
the somebody who really looks into their things like very carefully.
You are just
Stuff like
do
that.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm not that kind of person, but like I think for my husband, who is that type of person, he will also
Mm,
say, look at the opportunity cost if you don't do something like that,
mm.
right?
Okay,
So
at least he will still look at the opportunity
yeah,
cost lah.
yeah. So I mean, for somebody who's very maybe careful about like certain things like that, then to look at the opportunity cost and look at things objectively lah, to see if
Mm,
you will really benefit from it or not. Then
mm.
take the plunge if you will.
Yeah, I can see that both you and your husband, the mindset are really good, very cut for entrepreneurship, because for you, for both of you, is basically you see the good side of it, and the opportunity side of it. Because if you have an employee mindset, right, you don't really see opportunity. You only see
Mm.
all the negativity, all the downside. You don't really see the opportunity. So would you say that you and your husband, or you yourself, you are more you are a optimistic person in business or
Uh,
in everything?
yeah, I think I don't really I don't really worry that much.
Mm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
whatever
don't
challenges,
yeah.
problem come, you just take it and try to solve it.
Yeah, I don't really worry that much, or I don't like. I think I'm somebody who gets over stuff quite fast.
Mhm. Okay,
Mm.
okay, that's good. So talking about that, right? What would be your three tips, right? Because now you talk about jumping into business, stepping into entrepreneurship. What would be
Mm.
your three tips that you have for mothers who want to step into entrepreneurship?
I think like for moms or like even for anybody who is looking to do this, right? Like I think a lot of people, when there are opportunities for them to maybe make side income or what, they would there will be a lot of excuses lah, huh? Let's just put it as
Yeah.
that, like you have no time, or you are busy with this, or like there's just this downside and that downside, and all those things. So sometimes there's no point in giving advice to
Mm,
people because it's unsolicited, right? Because there's
yeah.
always going to be excuses, right? So if you are going to find excuses for yourself, then don't even don't even bother to
Mm.
to go into
So
this.
your
And
first tip is to stop your excuses.
yeah,
Is
stop your
that?
excuses. Yeah, stop your excuses. And then just try it out while you have a full-time job.
Mm,
uh take a cal- take a calculated risk, so
mm,
don't anyhow quit your job. I think that's the big thing, right? I For me, I only quit like after I was making a
mm.
decent income lah. So I think, yeah, to
So will that
to
will that calculate your risk is
mm,
will be your second tip?
yeah, taking
Okay.
calculated risk.
Mm,
Third tip is um I think what has helped me really is to really focus on self improvement.
mm.
Yeah.
Good. So focus
Mm.
on self
So I
improve.
think I sum it up. First is stop giving yourself excuses. Second one is to take calculated risk. And third is in what you do to focus on improvement, in
Mm.
self improvement. Mm.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for these three tips, because I think this is not just applying to mothers, but apply to everyone. But I think a lot of the time, mothers always have that what you call that, um, a lot of excuses, like, oh, I have a child, I don't have time for my child, I don't have time for my work. Where do I have time to run the business, right? I think
Mm.
the first thing that you mentioned is to really stop the excuses, because this is what I always tell a lot of mothers who wanted to start but give a lot of reason to justify that they cannot do this, cannot do that. But I think if you really stop all this, right, all these noises, right, you just focus on what you want to do, right? Like your work, like you just keep on doing the work, then you will see the result, you will see the profit, you will see the income coming in. So
Mm.
thanks a lot for sharing that. So there's before we're going to end soon. So this is a question that I for this season I'm asking a lot of mothers, is that what if you are not a mom, what will you be doing now, and what will your life be? This is a hypothetical question that I'm just curious, just want
Mm.
to put it out to you. So what would your answer be?
Definitely, if I was not a mom, I'll probably still be running group PR. But maybe I could not be running a business. Maybe I'll be a freelancer, right?
Mm,
Because like I probably wouldn't see the need to manage my time properly. right? I would probably be a freelancer. Maybe I would be working a lot more remotely, like based in another country, possibly.
Mm,
Yeah. So uh, I think that is possibly it. Yeah, and maybe having a lot more time to explore stuff like health
mm.
and fitness a little bit more lah. Yeah.
More self-love, self-care, and all that
Correct.
stuff.
Correct.
Mm.
Correct. 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 Yeah.
Okay, good, good.
Mm.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Christel. So, how
Thank
can
you.
the audience get connected with you?
Okay, I think you can look for me, Christel Goh on LinkedIn. You can connect with me then. There. If you want to connect with me, then you can share that you actually watched this video, so that I know where you're from. Or like Instagram is fine. But yeah, you can go to my LinkedIn. Just search Christel Goh. Yeah, and I'm there.
Thank you so much, Christel. Thank you for your time.
Thank
It
you.
has
Thank you, Tina.
been a joy interviewing you once again, and also this time round, I think it's more. There's a lot of very good advice that you have shared, especially the 3 tips for mothers who want to step into business. And I think it's now very clear for you that mompreneurship or running a business while juggling both parenting and business, I think it works for you perfectly. And
Mm,
even for you, right, along the way, any challenges or struggle that you face, right, you will overcome it because you have that 3 tips to share with people. You are also working on yourself, and you are growing really really fast. Like how your business, because when I see that when you are growing, investing in yourself, and you grow, your business will grow together with you. So I hope that the for those who are listening and watching, you will be able to get all these nuggets, especially on motherhood and business, which is the topic we'll talk about. So once again, thanks, Christel, for spending more time, and I will see you guys in the next week. All right, thank you,
thank you, Kenneth.
everyone. Take
Bye
care. Bye
bye.
bye.